Suge Knight in his prime was a force to reckon with. He had so many guys in the hip-hop industry shaken that they'd hire 24/7 security just to go out and get groceries. He's one of the key players in the 1990s success of gangster rap. The co-founder of Death Row Records is a brutal rule breaker who made grown men tremble just at the mention of his name. And believe me when I say they had every reason to. Keep watching till the end of this video to see why Suge Knight was really the most feared man in the hip-hop industry. Trust me, you don't want to miss this. Suge Knight's involvement to EazyE's death. Compton-born Suge Knight is regarded as the most feared man in the history of hip-hop. And trust me when I say this is true. He used to be a famous football player who played for the Los Angeles Rams at Linwood High School, after which he proceeded to Nevada University. Unfortunately, the football stardom wasn't satisfying for Suge, so he decided to trade football for the entertainment industry, where he quickly became the co-founder of Death Row record label, but not without a fight. On making his way into the rap industry, Suge decided to bully his way to the top. He didn't care who got hurt or who died along the way. His first target was EazyE, who owned Ruthless record label. He had his eyes set on one of EazyE's rappers, Dr. Dre. Suge fought tooth and nail to get Dr. Dre on his record label. He went as far as threatening EazyE, the founder of Ruthless, to sign Dr. Dre's release form. But unlike every normal person who would go through the right way, the legal way, Suge had his own ways. Suge got Dr. Dre on his record label after he kidnapped EazyE's partner and manager, Jerry Heller, and threatened EazyE that he would kill both Jerry and his mother if he refused to sign the papers. And oh, let's not forget that he showed up to EazyE's office with goons who brandished wrenches, crowbars, and baseball bats that were meant to be used to beat up EazyE if he refused to sign the papers. After he released Dr. Dre from Ruthless, EazyE recounted the details of that fateful day as he said, "I figured either I'd sign the papers, get my kick, or fight them." To top it off, shortly after the incident, EazyE somehow contracted one of the deadliest STDs out there, AIDS. Sadly, he passed away from complications resulting from the disease. Many years later, Suge subtly revealed in an interview with Jimmy Kimmel that he may have injected EazyE with AIDS. Suge Knight's violent reputation. With his record label making a solid stance in the rap industry and with Dr. Dre by his side, Suge's menacing behavior only became worse. It got so bad that his star rapper Dr. Dre himself became terrified of him, decided to call it quits, and also forfeited his profits from the record label. I mean, after all the terrible things Suge did, anyone would understand why Dr. Dre left with nothing but his life. You see, Suge was literally Bigfoot. You hear the stories and hope that you never come in contact with him. But some people are just not lucky enough. One person who got a taste of his menace was Vanilla Ice, when Suge Knight almost threw him off a balcony after he refused to pay royalties to Mario Johnson. Suge decided to fight for Mario, a ghostwriter who had written the song Ice Ice Baby for him. After the incident, Vanilla Ice had to cough up millions of dollars to pay. After being mocked over the incident in the industry, Vanilla Ice claimed they were just talking on the balcony and that nothing had happened. But of course, no one would want to admit they got beat up. People dreaded dealing with Suge, especially when it came to business. Everyone had the story of Happy Walters to learn not to mess up Suge's business. Walters, who managed RZA of the Wu-Tang Clan fame, House of Pain, and Cypress Hill, to name just a couple, had some shady dealings with Suge Knight. Then one day, Walters vanished while withdrawing money from the ATM, leaving his wallet behind, only to turn up 3 days later. Walters was found beaten and staggering at a Los Angeles beach with burns all over his body. After he recovered, he refused to disclose the identity of his kidnappers. Well, we all know you dare not mention Suge to the authorities. Suge was unstoppable, and of course some people tried to stop him, but those people got to learn about Suge the hard way. This one time he assaulted a marijuana dispensary employee on camera. The employee said Suge couldn't enter the facility because he didn't have his medical marijuana license. The footage captured Suge punching the employee in the jawline as he threatened to kill him. If you think that wasn't enough to fear Suge, wait till you hear about how he forced his employees to drink their own urine. According to rapper Corrupt, Suge made all his employees urinate in a bucket, and every time they messed up, they had to drink it. They drank the urine just as he wanted. Suge would say, "Drink the piss or I'll whoop your for real." I don't know about you, but that's just about enough reason to fear a man. Gender wasn't a pass when it came to Suge. He treated women just as poorly as he treated men. In a documentary that detailed the life of employees in the Death Row record label, the label's photographer, Simone Green, explained how Suge assaulted her while his crew members subdued her. Simone, however, claimed that Suge apologized to her. Suge Knight's lengthy criminal history. After hearing just how much trouble Suge caused people, it shouldn't come as a surprise to you that Suge's second home was behind bars. The man got locked up so much that he had people wondering if prison food was that good, or if he just liked the orange uniform. His criminal background is lengthy, taking it as far back as 1987. That is very early if you ask me. He allegedly assaulted his girlfriend, whose name is unknown, and pulled the poor girl's ponytail in front of bystanders. In October 1987, Suge Knight was taken into custody and charged with domestic abuse. That was the beginning, and things only got worse as Suge kept going in and out of prison after that. Suge was arrested once again after he allegedly tried to steal a car while armed. This happened on Halloween night of that same year. He was detained and accused of trying to kill the driver during the auto heist after firing 3 times at him. He pleaded guilty to a minor violation and was sentenced to 2 years of probation. He found himself back in jail after violating his probation conditions by assaulting 2 rappers, Linwood and George Stanley, stripping them naked and beating the living hell out of them at his Hollywood recording studio for not being able to rap. In 1996, Suge was arrested for his involvement in a gang fight after an altercation in which he, Tupac, and others had attacked Orlando Anderson. However, he insisted that he only attempted to stop a violent beatdown. Suge was sentenced to a 9-year prison term. According to him, he regretted ever paying lawyers to save him. He claimed his lawyers were up to no good as they couldn't save him from going to jail. The rap mogul was set free after serving a 5-year sentence. But of course he found himself back in prison a year after he violated his probation by moving to Malibu without informing his parole officer. Suge kept going in and out of jail year after year from 2002 to 2018, when he was finally sent away for a very long time. Do you think in this present age and time, Suge Knight would have been able to instill so much fear in rappers? Join the conversation and let us know in the comment section below. That's the end of today's video, guys. If you enjoyed this video, make sure to subscribe for more content. Thanks.